On this episode of the Layover Live, Veronica Williams stops by to talk email marketing. Hello everyone and welcome to episode 134 of the Layover Live, where we bring you the top article from the Layover each week. I'm Jason Swick, VP of Digital Marketing, and I'm excited to join our group today. I mean, we'll get to it in a second because we're talking about email marketing. But, over the course of the last, several weeks of the pandemic, we have spoken a lot about the types of content that DMOs can create to be successful. They include informational content. They create, we talk about content that's useful and educational, and also content that's entertaining. But these types of content don't begin and end with your website or even your social media marketing for that point. They continue through all aspects of your marketing, including email and marketing automation. Now, our article of the week this week comes from Opt-in Monster, which really discusses 9 tips for writing email marketing copy that converts. And to discuss that, I'm joined today by an expert in email marketing, Veronica Williams, who is our senior email marketing specialist at Simpleview. So Veronica, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jason. Thank you so much.
You bet, and thank you for coming on. So listen, I want to just jump right into it because, again, you're an expert in email marketing, and I want to kind of start to, break this into 3 parts, because I think as we're starting to build this content and starting to get that content to resonate with our audiences out there, there's no one really better to talk about that than you. So really, let's just jump right into it and start with really some examples of DMOs, Veronica, that are doing a great job of sharing some informational content with their email marketing. So can you share some examples of that with us?
Yes, definitely. I've got 2 examples for you, and the first one comes from Explore Asheville Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's their partner newsletter, and in probably about the early COVID times, April, March, they put out a newsletter to their partners that was really great. It was concise, it was to the point, there was lots of white space, made it easy for people to read. They also had links in there, but not just links to have links. It was very pointed links, and so people got the information that they needed. There's also a survey at the bottom of the email that I really liked, that was a way for Asheville to find out how they can better serve their members and partners, which is a great idea for people to do, because it's always great to just say, hey, how can we make it better for you? And especially right now. So that was a great example. The second example would be from the Pocono Mountains Visitor Bureau, their consumer newsletter. And with this one, I thought it was a great alternative to a traditional update that most people were giving during the time. It provided all the ways to stay informed through social, website, blog, anything like that. And I really loved the promotion that they are doing called Pocono Television Network. It's a way to get community updates. So those are some great examples right there.
Yeah, really, really good stuff there. Again, when you start to think about, really that content out there that's informative, again, not only on your websites, but with your email marketing. Those are 2 really good examples with Asheville and with Pocono. When we're starting to think about engagement with a lot of DMOs out there, we're even seeing some clients have 40% open rate, which is incredible. But as we're thinking about informative stuff, we need to think about content that's useful during these times as well, right? The pandemic has really forced DMOs to really provide that useful content out there. So how about some examples of some DMOs, Veronica, who are doing a good job with emails in this particular area?
Sure thing, Jason. The first of the 2 examples that I have comes from Visit Mesa. It's their consumer newsletter. And with this one, when you take a look at it, the top really pulls you in because it has an area called fortheloveofmesa.com, where it's a place for you to share your photos of Mesa, and then Visit Mesa in turn will share the music that goes along with them. So that to me is very unique, and again, it really draws you in. They also provided hashtags throughout the newsletter on ways to support Mesa through updates from their partners. So again, those updates are really going to be key in all of these newsletters, just people being aware of what's going on and what's happening with each of the destinations. They also showed their support to downtown Mesa by partnering with local businesses, and it's really cool what they did. They turned Main Street into a mile-long drive-through. Now, this might sound a little interesting and unique, but it was a great way for people to come out and, still stay socially distanced, but to support local businesses when they need it right now. So I really liked that with them. The second newsletter is for the Discover the Palm Beaches. It's their consumer newsletter. And this one had so many vibrant photos of the destination. It really made it a joy to look at. Excuse me. They also had a really fun twist on partnering where they provided local favorite recipes for summer cocktails. They also are showing a lot of support for the front line through encouraging people to purchase from local businesses. So it's a great way to show support, to show people what the destination has to offer, as well as giving you a little local flavor. So those are my examples.
Yeah, so two really good examples there as well. I mean, again, providing that value for your stakeholders and for your local businesses has been very, very, very important. And again, another great example of using that across email. But as we start to think about that too, I think it's important also to think about how content can be used from an entertaining standpoint. We could all use a break during these times, which I think is important. When we're starting to think about content out there, it's not just about negative all the time or serious type content, but we also need a break from every now and then. And we're starting to see a shift with some DMOs starting to do that. So, do you have, for that last piece, do you have that example that you can share maybe of a DMO that's providing some entertaining type content for their particular email subscribers?
Yes, definitely. And for this one, I also have two of them, and the first one comes from the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel. It's their consumer newsletter, and you won't believe it, Jason, but they have something called a Shellcast, which is a DMO podcast. It has a local expert, Jackie, who leads you through the best of the area, so that's really unique and brings all of the flavor of the area with the local expert and bringing people together, letting you know about what's going on. And their headline for it is, "Can you hear it?" And for me, that really pulled me in. And so I wanted to learn more. I'm like, can I hear what? So I thought that was really, really cool. And it was really a unique way to promote the area and entertain people at the same time. And it can be used not only for the leisure portion of your visitors, but also for meetings if you wanted to. So it has multi-use for that. The last of the newsletters would be from the Los Angeles Tourism and Convention Board, their consumer newsletter. This one ran for a couple of weeks, and what it did is it had a way for you to share the sunset with everybody, and it was called the Magic Hour. You can have fun things to do during the Magic Hour, like sunset yoga, learn about magic, having magic lessons. And the whole idea of it is to get people together, have your community, and to really share something special, because I hear those sunsets are pretty great over there. So that was a really unique way to share and to include people. And just one last thing about this one is the main picture of the email is an animated GIF of a sunset on one of the beaches. And so that kind of gives you a taste of what's going to come up when you log in and watch these sunsets. And so I thought that was a really great touch versus just having a static image. So.
Yeah, really good examples there as well. You touched on informational, you touched on, that utilitarian content. And now I think to have entertaining content with, the beaches of Fort Myers and Sanibel as well as LA are really, really, really good examples. And it's also creative ways to be able to get your audiences to engage even more. So those are all really three good examples. Now, as we also think about leisure content, we can't forget about pivoting also to clients who are doing good things with meetings content. It's something we haven't talked about very often. We talked a little bit with Jeff Robinson when we were talking about meetings content with what some of the really, really cool things are doing in Visit Indy. But I don't want to forget about that as well, because there are some clients doing some really good things with email marketing as it relates to meetings. So, how about an example of a meeting newsletter example that you might be able to share of a client out there who's doing a really, really good job of marketing to that audience, as it's been an audience that's been pretty hit hard. So maybe share an example there if you have one, Veronica.
Yeah, definitely, Jason. My first example would be Me in Reykjavik in Iceland. They did a great combination of taking some leisure portions and including those in their traditionally meetings newsletter. So I think it was a great way to reach both audiences when normally they would just be reaching the meeting side. With it, there's also a feature about a video that was recorded from CNN, and it shows that they have an authority on them. And I think that's very important right now during COVID, that they show that they have authority and people can trust them, and they also have a great emphasis of being safe. And it's very reassuring to the reader when you read the newsletter. So I like that a lot with that one. The other one I want to share would be the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. Their headline is awesome. It's playing on what everybody knows what Miami is all about, and it's just a little spicy. So I thought that was a lot of fun to read. There was a very subtle mention about a meetings promotion that they had. It wasn't upfront in your face. It was a nice subtle mention, and I thought that was very nice how they did that. They didn't need to go overboard. What they did was they featured a recipe that keeps Miami top of your mind, but it also makes you feel a part of everything. So I thought that was a nice combination with that newsletter.
Yeah, some really good examples on that meeting side. Again, it's a great way to be able to engage with that audience and keep things, keep ways of engaging and nurturing that audience moving forward. Listen, we've all had fatigue from sitting in on some virtual events, and those are nice to have for right now. But in the end, listen, we need to be engaging with audiences and nurturing that experience. And I think email is a great way to stay in touch with your audience along the way until we get back to a time rather when we are able to engage and meet with folks once again. We do have some time left now. We do want to ask you again while I have you here, and as we're talking about email marketing, you being an expert in that space. What advice do you have, Veronica, for destination marketers out there? Any tips that you'd like to share while we have some extra time left?
Oh, definitely, Jason. I've got a couple tips to share and
Great.
advice. The top one would be deliverability. It should always be at the forefront of your mind. And deliverability is the ability to get emails into the inbox, which is very important. If you can't reach your subscribers or your recipients, then your message doesn't get out there. So it's very important. And we all should agree right now that this isn't the time to begin spamming people, sending emails that they didn't ask for or too many. So it's the perfect time to get to know your subscribers. And the best way to do that is pretty simple. All you do is you ask them a question on the email that will make them reply. And it could be just as simple as, what do you think of our newsletter? This is going to help your deliverability because it's going to show ISPs like Gmail or Yahoo, AOL, that people are interested in what you're saying and they're writing you back. So they're engaging with you. The other thing that I would want to talk to you guys about would be an article from Oracle where they talk about creating a bit of excitement in your emails through sneak previews. We've all heard about sneak previews for movies, but if you think about it, right now in what we're dealing with, we had things closed. Now we're opening them. So why not create excitement by saying, this is upcoming, these things are coming out, and put out quick little sneak preview emails. With that, it's going to create a sense of community with a combination of social media, if you want to, and your website. So just kind of putting it all together to create that excitement. The opening of your destination should be viewed as a really unique opportunity to connect with your subscribers or even reconnect with them. So you don't want to waste that. And with email having an ROI of 42%, as according to the DMA, it's a great way to deliver your message as well. So thank you, Jason.
Yeah, no, really good advice there, right? And I always like to get that perspective because email marketing plays such an important part of a marketing strategy, and it makes sense, right? During these times, you're kind of seeing this renaissance with email marketing, and it's a great way to engage with that audience. If you think about deliverability, that's such an important piece of everything that we do. If we're not getting things properly into an inbox, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But then also, once we're getting it there, creating that engaging content, which you talked about, to really help with building that excitement so that when we start to reopen again, find those unique opportunities to connect. So, great advice there. I think it's great stuff. I think it's great examples that you shared for the types of content. So, Veronica, thank you for stopping by the show and sharing that with us.
Yeah, great. Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
You're welcome. And thanks for tuning in each and every week. If you're not subscribed, please do so now. We're also available on Spotify and iTunes. If you want to consume us through audio podcast, please do so as well. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time, and have a great day.